Richard, I'm delighted for you making time for me today. This is Richard Jackson from Idiliq, and he's Group Operations Director. And hey, it's good to talk about many things, really.
Yeah.
But the tip of it all for me is the luxury brand market
Right.
that's emerging in property. I find it quite unique. Here we are today with Spain. You and I haven't spent a great number of years here. I've drifted into North America for quite a long period up to COVID with a property portfolio there.
Yeah.
And I've come back here. And the reason I came back here is, well, I'm at that time in my life where I really want to enjoy it. Although I seem to be working longer than ever these days. Can't seem to
Call
win.
it work sport. You know,
It's got to be fun. It's got to be fun. And the international thing's also interesting too, because I'm getting phone calls at most peculiar times from really interesting parts of the world asking about here.
Yeah.
So the video YouTube channel we created, which is only 3 or 4 months old, has already garnered a substantial many thousands of subscribers.
Yeah,
That's an appetite to learn about here.
I tell you, institutional investment is coming in here in a big way. You asked about the branded residence idea, and there's a lot of big money behind that. It's big hotel groups who also invest in real estate. And I see something 4.5 billion come in.
Goodness, that's some
Yeah.
number.
Yeah.
And I was reading the Savills report. I've been working with some journalists on doing some profiling on
Yeah.
bringing branded agencies here and branded products into here,
Yeah.
and trying to get an understanding of why and how. And that emergence is quite something, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Savills report quoted 15 recognized development sites, if you will, that were branded back in the 90s. They were projecting 700 for this year. I think the number is now 900. And I know they're just stats that we throw around.
Yeah.
But what you can honestly say is a great upward trajectory.
Yeah, I think it's a natural progression. I mean, before I was working with Idiliq, I was consulting and head of the commercial sales and marketing development side for Urbania, and they ended up creating Higaron West. And what we did there is it took what is at the time, which is several years ago, was pretty new to the market, where it was a real lifestyle resort, not just words, but you could, had hiking, walking, tennis, all the facilities with the Hilton. And it was people were buying it not just for the apartment, but for the lifestyle they could have when they were there. And now where I am, it takes it to the next level, I think, where people want to have a high quality lifestyle, a lot of service, but have their own home as well. So it's really, I think it's going that way in the future. People, now when you're looking to invest in even in a 2-bedroom apartment, you could be talking anywhere from 400 to €1 million.
Absolutely.
And villas are all in the multi-millions. So
Yes.
at some point they say, well, I'm going to use this 6 weeks a year. Why don't I get some income from this while I'm not in? As long as I can be sure, okay, who's going to look after it. And if it's a big brand hotelier, that's what they do. But with Idiliq, we ended up in a relationship with Wyndham Grand, Wyndham Worldwide, and they have 22 brands underneath their title. They're the largest independent hotelier in the world with 9,000 hotels, and they have 100 million loyalty members. So they know what they're doing. They know how to deliver a very good quality experience, and they know how to manage a property in the best way. And that, according to the statistics, adds value to the property. Anywhere 20, 25%, 30%, depending on where you are. I can remember back years ago, probably 8 or 10 years ago, there was brands coming up in Florida. And now it's here. And here there's about 15 different brands. A lot of them are car dealers or cosmetics or fashion. You have Dolce & Gabbana, you have Fendi, you have, Lamborghini. What we did is we wanted to associate with a hotel brand. Being hoteliers ourselves back 40 years ago, people I work with were in the business down here 39 years ago to be exact. And they have over 1,000 units under management here, where they ran as a hotel on the beachfront. And then they also have in Tenerife, they have in Orlando, in England, in Turkey. So they're not new to the hospitality business, but they're not specialists in it the way that somebody like Wyndham is. Mm-hmm. And people want that peace of mind when they're not there, that it's going to be looked after. a lot of people think, oh, and actually it's going to take a little time because you're looking at the trend. Now you're seeing the front end of it, I think. They're talking about in the next 6 years, a doubling of the branded residences in a worldwide picture. But I think it takes a while. Most of the clients we see are not coming down here to buy something that they can rent when they're not in it. They don't want an investment. Not that this is an investment in lifestyle, I'd say. They want, this is my home, my dream. I can buy it and I can use it when I want. My friends can use it. But then when they start thinking the capital in a need to own this, and the cost of maintaining it, and the issues that can be involved if you have a property not occupied. So I think you're going to see more and more of this in the future. But if we were talking, I'm from the general real estate business as well, the clients we get largely from agents are saying, oh, but they don't want to be in a rental program, so it takes time. But I even know at Higaron West, people for sure said they didn't want to rent. This is my home. I wouldn't want somebody else in it. And now I would say 60% of them are renting because they can pick up 40,000 Scandinavians. They're at home, not going to use it. 30, 40,000.
Realize some capital back on
Yeah,
an
and they
investment
have,
makes common sense.
But you have to have the right people looking after it for you.
Yeah. I would say 95% of clients who we talk to say, I want to rent out the property some of the year and use it some of the year. That's very much the standard theme.
Yeah.
It's logical. They're at an age probably, they're always younger than I think they're going to be.
Yeah.
I always think they're closer to retirement, but they're not.
No.
These guys are 35, 40, 45 years old.
That's right.
They're there, they're
That's
making
a
their
different
money.
market. You're right
Yeah.
there. I'm talking more let's say, 45 to 65-year-old. There's a very vibrant market where they're earning good income.
Good income.
And
Now they're living in this post-COVID world where
Yeah.
they can live anywhere anyway.
Yeah.
And if they want to take a couple of months and come down here and live in their home, they want to do that.
Yeah.
And they've got that income. And why have the hustle and bustle of a London or a New York or a Boston or perhaps Edinburgh sometimes as well? They want to go somewhere where they can get the sun on their back. It makes sense. And the transition from, it's not that it's a mystery, but there's perhaps always a conception where luxury homes are something old and stiff.
Yeah.
In the sense that, well, it's something secluded behind a big hedge. And
Yeah.
is that me? I'm 38 or 42,
Yeah.
I wish I was. But those that are, our target
Yeah.
audience are. And I've got that income. And I don't want to be in some bushed out villa in the back of nowhere. No. Where's my identity? I'm still living my life
Yeah.
in a vibrant way.
Yeah.
And for me, branded occupancy homes give you that.
Yes, you're right. Very much so.
And I think the space is why we're seeing that emergence. What's obviously interesting about what you guys are doing, of course, by being, if not the global hotel brand name, what you do is you give another level of confidence is too, because you know about service and the disciplines required in that perhaps another global brand, for example, a designer brand or an automobile brand, they're lending that branding, which is significant and beautiful properties. But maybe that service part, although that's got to come into it too. And you were talking
very
about
much so.
subscriptions,
Yeah, very much so. We've been managing our own product and making sure clients are happy, looking for that second sale or looking for the referrals, and doing it for a long, long time. But it got to a point where to take it to the next level is to get it proper. I mean, they have a book that's, I think it's 400 pages long that tells you how to fold the toilet paper in the bathroom. Every little detail of how that property should be managed is looked after. And we meet with them early on. It starts in the design phase. We're starting to develop in Cala. We have a project there of 58 townhomes, and that's called Wyndham Grand Cala Golf Residence. And that is a very nice project, very high-end, and offers a lot of the facilities and amenities, the golf frontage, the privacy, but it's 7 minutes from the beach. And people said, oh, I don't know, it's too far. 7 minutes too far. But when you're out there, you feel like you're in a different world.
Yes.
It's peace and quiet. And a lot of people look for that. They look for stress release, relax, enjoy the nature. We've used something like 15 different local materials in the making of the house. They're really beautiful. But that actually has received the Wyndham Grand Award, which is only 1% of Wyndham's portfolio, gets this Wyndham Grand. So it's a very unique opportunity for us. And they also see if you talk about Wyndham, they're not as well known. In the States, you said you spent some time there. It's very well
Yes.
known there. Very well known in Asia, many parts of the world. There are 95 countries, but right here in Europe, if you say Ramada, people probably recognize
Yes.
more than Wyndham.
Yes.
So they see an opportunity here as well. So they chose to partner with us to have a base to move from.
It makes a lot of sense. And of course, the interesting thing always about here is we always have multiple fronts, but the two that strike me are one is that we're talking about lifestyle, which
Yeah.
we do an awful lot of, because it's so great, and we do live in pretty much a treasure trove of wonder,
Yeah.
weather and the sports and all the eating out and all the great things that are so obvious. But when you're here, when you taste it, that's why you want to live it. But the second part, which is probably more important in a way, is the legacy that you leave with it in a sense, because your investments are pretty secure.
Yes, very.
The historical path tells us that.
Yeah.
And what does a brand then do on top of that? And I think that's the interesting space for us today.
Yeah, it is, absolutely. A lot of our people, they see this as a real opportunity for capital growth as well. The rental returns are, they're fair, 5-6% in building as time goes on. But we're not going out there saying you're going to earn 10 or 12% because
Sure.
you don't. They're not real numbers. But to know that's a baseline, and then you can do better, because we do a guarantee first year, and then we do a revenue sharing, like a 70-30%, where the owner gets the 70%. Here, it's an opportunity for an investor, an owner, to get connected with the hotel brand, to have safety, security, and feel safe about their investment as well.
It's very much that lock and go,
Yeah.
peace of mind, going away back to wherever else you're doing
Yeah,
your thing and doing
exactly.
that stuff. So what about the properties themselves? What would clients get?
Well, in Wyndham Grand, we sell all our properties fully furnished, down to the housewares package. And these would be the townhouses for a two-bedroom townhouse, about 140 square meters, and the three-bed is about 170 square meters. They're over 2 stories, and depending on where it is, the bedrooms would be either on the first floor, so you can get the golf view, or on the second floor. Very lovely, high-quality homes, fully furnished, very high standard, with leisure. And from leisure facilities, they have 3 swimming pools, a spa. They have a co-working and a gymnasium, and access, and also the concierge. They can plug in bespoke to the Wyndham concierge, whatever they feel they need. If they want daily maid service, they pay the extra. If they want to have their place stocked before they come, if they want to have a chef prepare dinner, or they want to have a massage, all this can be ordered through the concierge system without having to pay for things you're not going to use. Yeah.
So it's true optimal resort style living,
Yeah, that's
but
right.
you own the property.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
that's really the significance of
Yeah,
this.
very much so. Again, I notice coming from the real estate side that we do get people that need to be educated, because they have, not in the age group you're talking about, the older group, they're saying, oh, I just want to buy the home, use it myself. But it's not, very quickly they come around to it when it's explained, because they don't really want the responsibility, the headache, and the cost
Yeah.
to have a holiday or have a place.
And I think that's the other interesting part, because we're all that great expression from the M. Scott Peck book about being classically conditioned.
Yeah.
We tend to follow a path
Yeah.
because that's what we know.
Yeah.
And embracing new does take us time. And the older we get,
Yeah.
I'd only have to look at me with some of the apps that are around to understand that one on a personal level. But the flip side of that is we're seeing this hospitality come residential space transform itself
Yeah.
into what it should be, which is very client focused.
Yeah.
So whether you're the purchaser or someone who rents a property or wherever it might be, and the space that is so fascinating goes back to something I alluded to earlier, where if you've got income and you're a mobile person,
Yeah.
and you're seeing a home perhaps covered in shrubs or not really understanding it, and your eyes probably roll worrying about the plumbing or what's going to happen to the swimming pool when I'm not there, and rather obvious things that would go through our minds.
It happens.
But hey, what about in a world where everything's done for you? And as you say, you book your masseur, you have your dinner arranged.
Yeah,
whatever
you're
it
not
might
in a
be.
hotel, you're in your own residence, a 3-bedroom, lovely, townhome, really. Well, private garden. Most of them have their own plunge pool or jacuzzi as well outside. But a chance to meet other people,
Yes.
because a lot of times a vacation is about people you meet on vacation, and
Absolutely.
and being able to come there and play golf together. And a lot of times you might buy a place and be in a complex and not know anybody. You own it there, but you don't have any way to connect with the other people.
And it's the way we embrace what comes around as new.
Yeah.
Back to the nomad life of why does we co-work kind of spaces work?
Yeah.
It's now pretty standard in our development. It's generated as a reason for that
Yeah.
because all environments now are centered towards having that kind of community. We're almost global citizens, if you will,
Yeah.
where we can live anywhere we want.
Yeah.
And this is always a focal point because Marbella is so globally well known.
Yeah, very much a world brand. No matter where in the world you are, you say Marbella, they know where it is.
People know where
They
it
might not
is.
know where Fungirola is, but they know
Yeah.
where Marbella
Or pronouncing it correctly in the case of most of us.
Fungirola.
Yeah, there's those fun memes around those kind of things as well.
Yeah.
But we know this, and sometimes others don't know this, but from international golf courses that are globally known to the Valderamas and Pinky Courtesans, and
Yeah.
we've had Ryder Cups here and Solheim Cups here in recent years. Look at Ryder Cup was a few years back now,
Yeah.
to be fair. One of my favorite stories always about here, of course, is the snow skiing park.
Yeah.
And it's great fun doing that. And I remember when the kids were small, we'd go ski in the morning and try and race down with sensibly driving, of course,
Yeah.
and try and race down to the snow fight on the beach and
Yeah.
doing all those fun. You always cheated with the cooler box, but it was a good. The
Yeah.
story's
I
good.
have a friend who used to call the trio. I can't remember the order. I think it was skiing, then the beach, and then around the golf.
Oh wow, wow.
So,
Yeah, I never got my kids into golf. No, it never worked. But the thing about here is we've always got these like little tapestry stories for me.
Yeah.
In other words, there's so much to do.
yeah.
I mean, supboarding is so popular. I'm fortunate enough to live on the beachfront, and
Yeah.
I see supboarding and jet skis going off all the time, especially right now, it being
Yeah.
summer. The patio is incredible. You can walk, cycle, run, do all of that
Yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah.
It is genuinely magical.
Yeah.
I used to have a bit of a soft spot for San Diego, for example,
Yeah.
because the climate is quite similar
Yes.
to here.
Yes.
in a
That's
way.
right. Yeah.
But when I come here now, there's that sense of security that perhaps you don't get in other parts of the world too.
Yeah.
Very welcoming nation with Spanish people.
Yeah.
Very, very dependent on that inward investment anyway. So you feel that sense of acceptance,
Yeah.
international, and then branding just seems that natural extension.
If we go back to something I said earlier about this $4.5 billion coming in from institutionals, it really helps. This when I first came here 35 years ago, you get a lot of this, and then you're going to see this type of transition to where it becomes more of a live around year-round place, more residents to go along with the tourism. You're going to see a much more of a lower highs and lows. Because also the Europe. They don't want to invest in Turkey or even
Yes.
some of the Norwegian countries. Some of the Scandinavian countries have currency issues at the moment.
Yes, you've got the stability with the euro as well. And that thing going back on the investment level about asset class,
Yeah.
I remember from my time in the US where, the Berkshire Hathaway type organizations where we were trying to explain to them, but residential is an asset class in Europe, and it took a while before that became. Then Millennium Corp ended up owning something like 40,000 homes, ridiculous number, and becoming a thing. So there's a suggestion that might be coming here in some way as well, where portfolio buying becomes a bit of a thing and delivers very good yields.
Yeah. Well, they have managed to improve the tax situation in Spain. If they tweaked it a little bit more, I think it'd be too much.
Well, and again, it's market forces that always dictate these
Yeah.
things, isn't it? If it's creating job and it's better for the economy and generally for the people, then it makes a lot of sense to do that.
A lot of Americans coming over here now.
Yes, incredibly so.
Yeah, they see the opportunity to get to someplace outside of the U.S. and have an European experience, because it is very.
I'm hearing safety a lot too, surprisingly, mentioned within it. Not that I ever felt any danger or any concerns ever when I was in the States for quite prolonged periods there. But yes, we're seeing US citizens asking more and more about living here.
Yeah.
The two questions are, how do I live here? And what's available. So the how I live here means that transition of understanding as a non-European citizen.
Yeah.
And I'm always keen to explain to them it's not as difficult as you might think. especially if you're buying a home. So I want to thank you for making time.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
It's great to chat through all things property. I feel that you and I could have a long conversation about a lot of things.
Yeah, let's do that.
And we should do one of these. I really
Let's
look
do
forward
that.
to that. And
Let's
for
get
now,
together.
I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.